Why India and China fight over this mountain. High in the mountains, where the air is thin and the ground is covered in ice, there is a place that almost looks lifeless. No cities, no markets, no normal human life. And still, this place has caused one of the most serious border tensions in the modern world. Two of the biggest countries on Earth, India and China, both nuclear powers, stand face to face here. Soldiers patrol in silence. Every move is watched. Every step matters. So the question is simple. Why would two powerful nations risk conflict over a place that looks completely empty? To understand that, we need to look at the land, the history, and the fear behind it. High in the Himalayas, there is a border area where two of the world's biggest countries meet. It is cold, silent, and almost empty. No cities, no normal life, just mountains, snow, and extreme weather. But this quiet place is not peaceful. It has been at the center of tension between India and China for decades. Soldiers are stationed here, and both sides watch each other closely. What makes this more serious is that both countries are not small players. They are powerful nations with strong armies and nuclear weapons. And yet, the conflict continues in a place where almost no one lives. To understand why, we need to start from the very beginning, where this place is. This conflict happens in a cold mountain region in Asia. The main areas are known as Galwan Valley and Aksai Chin. These places are part of the larger high-altitude region of Ladakh. On one side is India, on the other side is China. Between them are sharp mountains, deep valleys, and some of the harshest weather conditions on Earth. Temperatures drop far below freezing. Roads are limited. Oxygen is low. Most people never live here permanently, but even with all this difficulty, both countries still claim parts of this land. Why this empty land matters? At first look, this area seems useless. No farming, no big cities, no easy travel routes. But here's the thing. In border conflicts, land is not only about how it looks, it is about what it connects. Aksai Chin is very important for China because it connects two major regions, Tibet and Xinjiang. Without this route, China's control and movement in the west becomes harder. On the other hand, India sees this land as part of its territory in Ladakh. For India, losing control here means losing strategic depth in a sensitive border zone. Nearby regions like Tibet and Xinjiang also add to the importance of this area because both are key to China's western region stability. So even though the land looks empty, it sits in a very important position between major regions. That is why both sides refuse to step back. How the conflict started, 1962, or to understand today's tension, we need to go back in time. In 1962, India and China went to war over this border dispute. It is known as the Sino-Indian War. At that time, the border was not clearly defined. Both countries had different maps and different ideas about where the boundary should be. China moved its forces forward into disputed areas. India was not fully prepared for a large-scale mountain war. The terrain was harsh, communication was weak, and supply lines were difficult. The result was a short but intense conflict. China gained control of Aksai Chin, and India withdrew from certain positions. Even after the war ended, the main issue was never fully solved. No final agreement clearly fixed the border. That unfinished problem stayed alive for decades. Why the border never got fixed? After 1962, both countries tried talks, meetings and agreements. But the core issue stayed the same. The main problem is simple. Both India and China have different maps of where the border should be. There is no single agreed line on the ground in many areas. Instead, there is what is called the line of actual control, which is not fully clear or stable. This means soldiers from both sides often patrol close to each other, sometimes even in overlapping zones. In cold, high mountains, even a small movement can create tension. So instead of a fixed border, there is a sensitive and unclear line that depends on presence, patrols, and control. The Galwan Valley clash, recent tension. In 2020, the tension reached a dangerous point in Galwan Valley clash. In the Galwan Valley, soldiers from both sides came face to face. This time, there were no guns used due to agreements, but the situation still turned violent. Fighting broke out using sticks, stones and hand-to-hand combat. it became one of the most serious clashes in decades. Both sides suffered losses. The event shocked people because it showed how fragile the situation was. After this clash, both countries increased troop presence in the region. Roads were built faster, camps expanded, surveillance increased. What looked like a quiet mountain region suddenly became one of the most closely watched borders in the world. Why they still do not step back? Now the question is, why does this continue even today? There are three main reasons. First is control of land. Even small areas matter, because mountains give military advantage. Higher ground means better visibility and stronger defense. Second is national pride. Neither country wants to be seen as weak on its border. Third is security fear. If one side moves forward, the other side feels unsafe and responds. So every small movement creates a reaction. It is like a chain that never fully stops. Even though both sides talk, the trust level is low. That keeps the tension alive. Why this is not just about mountains. From far away, it looks like a fight over empty land. But it is not that simple. This region sits near important borders, trade routes, and sensitive zones. It affects how both countries protect their inner regions. For India, it is about keeping Ladakh secure. For China, it is about keeping control of its western region stable. So the land itself is small, but the impact is large. That is why neither side treats it lightly. What could happen? Next today, the situation is controlled but not fully solved. Both India and China still maintain troops in the region. Talks continue, but progress is slow. There is always a risk that a small misunderstanding could turn into a bigger problem, especially in such difficult terrain where communication is limited. At the same time, both countries know that a large conflict would be costly and dangerous, so full war is something neither side openly wants. The situation sits in a middle state, not peace, not war, something in between. And that makes it unpredictable. Ending. In the end, this is not just a story about mountains, it is a story about borders, history and control. A place that looks empty on the surface carries deep political weight underneath. And that is why even a silent frozen valley can become one of the most sensitive spots between two powerful nations.